How does the First Amendment impact law enforcement actions? In today's world, the balance between individual rights and law enforcement actions is more relevant than ever. With recent protests and public demonstrations making headlines, many are asking, how does the First Amendment impact law enforcement actions? The First Amendment protects freedoms of speech, assembly, and the right to petition the government. This protection directly affects how law enforcement can operate, especially during protests. Law enforcement must maintain public order while respecting these constitutional rights. One key point is that law enforcement cannot criminalize speech or conduct simply because it is offensive or unpopular. For example, in recent Supreme Court cases, it was ruled that a conviction for stalking based on speech must meet specific standards. This means that law enforcement must consider the speaker's awareness of threats before taking action. Another concern is the use of surveillance and monitoring by law enforcement. For instance, the use of drones over protests has raised First Amendment concerns. Government agencies must avoid actions that could chill free speech or assembly. Recently, the Department of Homeland Security faced criticism for using drones to surveil protests, with many arguing that this infringes on privacy and First Amendment rights. When law enforcement enforces laws that may affect speech or expressive conduct, courts requiring a credible threat of enforcement. The laws must not unduly restrict constitutional rights. For example, regulations on drone use have been challenged when they potentially limit expressive activities protected by the First Amendment. In short, the First Amendment limits law enforcement by requiring that actions, such as arrests, surveillance, or restrictions on assembly do not violate free speech or peaceful protest rights. Law enforcement must carefully justify interventions to avoid infringing on these constitutional protections. As protests continue to occur nationwide, understanding these rights is essential for everyone involved.